You're in the year 10,000 BC. No guns, no bombs, nothing at all. Just you and whatever you're holding in your hand. And that one thing decides whether you live or die. Today I'm taking you on a 500,000-year journey, from the very first weapon a human ever picked up, to something that can wipe out an entire city in seconds. Along the way, we'll meet the weapons that didn't just win battles, they rewrote civilizations. Some were so devastating they had to be banned. Others were so clever that armies are still copying them today. And I promise, at least once in this video, you're going to think, wait, I didn't know that. Let's start with something that sounds completely harmless, a rock. 2.6 million years ago, our ancestors picked up a stone and just kept smashing it against another rock until it had a sharp edge. That's it. That was the weapon. But here's what made it revolutionary. The first time in history, humans stopped using their own bodies to attack. They used a tool, and that single shift changed everything. But rocks had one big problem. You had to stand right next to your enemy. If they were bigger than you, done. About 400,000 years ago, someone had an idea. Instead of getting close, why not throw it from a distance? The spear was born, and the safe killing range increased tenfold overnight. Then, around 20,000 years ago, someone made it even better. They attached a short stick behind the spear to act as a lever when throwing. The Atlatls. It sounds like a board game. It wasn't. It doubled the throwing range and tripled the force on impact. Then someone thought, even that's not enough. The bow and arrow appeared around 70,000 years ago, range 200 meters. You could kill someone who couldn't even see you. Brutal, yes, but that's how war has worked ever since. Around 3000 BC, humans discovered metal, and everything changed. Bronze swords, lighter, sharper, and they didn't shatter on impact. But bronze was still soft, and then came iron. Iron showed up. An army with iron swords faced an army with bronze. The outcome was almost already decided before the first blow landed. But the real genius of the ancient world wasn't the weapon itself. It was the formation. The Greeks figured something out that everyone else had missed. It doesn't matter what weapon you carry. If you're standing alone, you're weak. They created the Phalanx, hundreds of men, shields locked side by side, long spears pointing outward. A moving wall, nearly impossible to break through from the front. Then Alexander the Great pushed it further with the Sarissa, a pike nearly 6 meters long. That's longer than most living rooms. Soldiers in the back rows could reach over the front lines and stab enemies they couldn't even see. The enemy was being killed before they could get close enough to fight back. Then the Romans added their own twist, the Pilum. A javelin designed to bend on impact so the enemy couldn't pick it up and throw it back. Details like that won empires. But it wasn't just land warfare changing. The Byzantines took things to the sea and brought with them something that still gives historians nightmares. Greek fire. A liquid that, once ignited, could not be put out with water. In fact, it burned harder when it hit water. They mounted it on warships and used it to incinerate entire enemy fleets on the open sea. Here's the strangest part. To this day, we still don't know the exact formula. That secret died with the Byzantine Empire. The Middle Ages, the era of knights, castles, and sieges that lasted for months. Castles weren't just homes, they were the ultimate defensive weapon. High walls, narrow entrances, limited sightlines for attackers. To take one down, you needed something serious. Enter the Trebuchet, the largest stone-throwing machine humans ever built. It could hurl a 330-pound boulder over 300 meters. Medieval commanders didn't always throw rocks. Sometimes they loaded rotting animal carcasses, diseased corpses, anything that would spread sickness. Hurled over the walls to infect the people trapped inside. Biological warfare, 1346, not the 20th century. But the weapon that truly ended the age of knights was smaller than anyone expected. The crossbow. Powerful enough to punch straight through metal armor at distance. That one invention shattered the entire social order of the time. Before this, becoming a great warrior meant training since childhood. Spending a fortune on armor, years mastering the sword. It was a profession for the rich and powerful. Now, a farmer who had never fought a single day in his life could pick up a crossbow and drop a knight. The nobility hated it so much the Pope actually banned it from Christian warfare. Naturally, nobody listened. Then came the English longbow at the Battle of Agincourt, 1415. 8,000 English soldiers, mostly archers, faced 25,000 French knights. They launched over 70,000 arrows per minute into the sky. The French army was annihilated before they even reached the English lines. The age of the armored knight was finished. And then gunpowder arrived from China, and the cannon changed everything overnight. Castles that took years and fortunes to build suddenly became liabilities. A thick stone wall means nothing when someone rolls a cannon up to it. Musket arrived in the 16th century. Early muskets, matchlocks, were painfully slow. A soldier had to keep a burning cord lit at all times, just to fire a single shot. Rain put your weapon out of action. Wind blew embers into your own face. Around 1500, the Wheellock solved part of that problem, using a spinning steel wheel to strike sparks, the same basic mechanism as a cigarette lighter today. Using a spinning steel wheel to strike sparks, the same basic mechanism as a cigarette lighter today. It was expensive and fragile, so it never fully replaced the matchlock on the battlefield. Then came the flintlock, in the early 1600s, using flint striking steel to ignite the powder. Reliable, cheap enough to mass produce, and simple enough for a farmer-turned-soldier to learn in days. The flintlock stayed the dominant firearm mechanism in every major army on Earth for roughly 200 years. Longer than any single weapon designed before or since. It's the weapon that fought the 7 Years' War, the American Revolution, and Napoleon's entire campaign across Europe. Now an army of 10,000 farmers with guns could defeat a force of elite trained knights. Money won wars now, not years of personal training. Armies grew bigger, battles grew bloodier. It took the percussion cap, invented in the early 1800s, to finally push firearms past the flintlock. Faster reloading, and far fewer misfires in wet weather. Faster reloading and far fewer misfires in wet weather. In the 1800s, the rifle replaced the musket, accurate at 500 meters. Then came the Gatling gun, 200 rounds per minute from a single weapon. You know what that meant. Every formation, every tactic humans had spent thousands of years perfecting, suddenly became the fastest way to get your entire army killed. And nobody understood this yet. World War I was the proof. Generals sent men marching in straight lines across open fields into machine gun fire. The same tactic that worked in Napoleon's time did not work anymore. On the first day of the Battle of the Somme, the British Army lost 57,000 men in a single day. And they still didn't change tactics. World War II changed the rules completely and introduced 3 things nobody had imagined before. First, the tank, a mobile fortress. Can't shoot through it, can't outrun it. When hundreds moved together in formation, entire cities fell in days. Second, the strategic bomber. For the first time, war came from the sky. You didn't need to be anywhere near your enemy to destroy their city. London, Dresden, Tokyo, all reduced to rubble from 30,000 feet up. And third, August 6, 1945, 8:15 in the morning, Hiroshima. 1 bomb, 4 tons, the size of a car. And in a few seconds, 70,000 people were gone. Not soldiers, people. I'm not saying this to shock you. I'm saying it because, for the first time in 500,000 years of weapons history, humans built something that could end themselves. Every weapon before this was about gaining an advantage over the enemy. This one made any real war between major powers unthinkable. And yet, the drive to innovate never stopped. Precision missiles that can hit a window from 500 miles away. Cyber weapons that can cripple a country's power grid without a single shot fired. Now, drones the size of your hand, carrying explosives, hunting their own targets with AI. No pilot, no risk to the attacker, no limit on how many you can deploy. The distance between the killer and the killed keeps getting larger, and the person pulling the trigger keeps getting safer. That, more than anything else, is the real story of 500,000 years of human weapons. We didn't just want to win. We wanted to win without getting hurt. From a sharpened rock to an AI-guided drone. 500,000 years, and the drive never stopped once. The strangest thing to me isn't that weapons kept getting more powerful. It's that every single time humans thought they had finally reached the limit, someone always found a way to go further. If this video made you see history a little differently, that's all I ever wanted to do here. Hit subscribe if you want to keep getting pulled into history like this. And drop a comment below, which weapon do you think was the real turning point? I read every single one. See you next week.